Well, we're back, everybody, and
Hey.
now it's time. It's that wonderful time of the week, the best time of the week. You gotta crack open a cold one, get yourself some hot dog flavored water, and just get ready
Yourself
and
a
get
chocolate
down.
starfish too.
Yeah.
Nice chocolate covered starfish.
Yeah, get yourself a chocolate starfish to munch on, and we're gonna go into Fred Durst Friday. So flip that ball cap around.
Starfish to munch on.
Yeah, flip that red cap around. Put on your best puka shell necklace. Put on some shitty '90s like fucking skate shoes and some cargo pants and a nice baseball jersey because we're about ready to get into this Fred Durst shit.
Fuck yeah.
I put on my etnies just for this.
I invited Muska over.
Taylor, I'm gonna let you take the lead on this one, unless you want me to. Okay.
So on this very special episode, and this very special after-school special episode of Fred Durst Friday, we're going to review the songs, because this one is the song part of the bracket. Bleed by Soulfly, and the song Here We Are, also parentheses Champions. That's got Lil Wayne, Birdman, and some random session musician who it's technically credited under.
I believe his name is Kevin Rudolph. All right.
Yeah, I never heard of that guy in my fucking life.
I hadn't heard of him either, but he apparently did that one song that was big on the radio that is very generic sounding, and it goes like, let it rock, let it rock, let it rock.
That does not ring a bell to me at all. Like that just
It is the most generic sounding song maybe ever, so that does not surprise me.
Oh, you know what? It said Let It Rock. I think it's got Lil Wayne. I vaguely remember that song, but because I remember hating it. I think that's why I remember it.
It's very bad.
Not great. So, nevertheless, let's get started. Let's talk about Bleed first. Now, are any of you guys familiar with Soulfly and Max Cavalera before we get started?
This was my first exposure. I mean, I was familiar with them, but I had never listened to them.
Yeah, so Soulfly is Max Cavalera's project after he was in the band, the legendary thrash and like groove metal band Sepultura.
Sepultura, yeah. I was gonna say okay. I knew him from Sepultura, and I knew of Soulfly, but I never listened.
Yeah, and he left Sepultura due to a dispute between the other band members and his wife, as all good, band breakups happen, essentially.
Yeah. Always the wife's fault.
And so Max Cavalera went from being in one of the most legendary thrash metal bands to being in a very generic nu metal band that never got any of the amount of hype that Sepultura did. So great idea on his part. But the song Bleed is, I believe, the very first single from Soulfly. And it's notable because it's got Fred Durst pre-Significant Other. So very early Fred Durst. We have some real primo, virgin Fred Durst here.
I did not realize that.
The song came out in like 1997, so...
Oh, shit.
Oh, wow. I assumed this was like pre-Limp Bizkit fame.
I did see in the music video on like a note someone had written like August 12th, 1996, and I was like, is that when this came out? I was pretty surprised, though. I thought maybe that was like a throwback to something else, like something happened on that day that I didn't bother looking up, because I assumed this would have at least been Significant Other era.
No, this album came out in April of 1998, so it came out right after $3 Bill and before Significant Other. So this was like I said, very like early Fred Durst.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, I really this era of Soulfly, even though I'm not a huge fan of the band Soulfly, still has a lot of the elements of Sepultura, like late era, like Max Cavalera era Sepultura that I really like. It's got like a lot of like Caribbean and like Brazilian inspired drums on it. It's very chaotic. I like that a lot. Max's vocals are very generic, but it kind of suits the song in my opinion. And then let's be honest, Fred Durst's verse is fantastic on this song. Can we all agree on that?
Yeah.
He's honestly the best part of this song.
He is pretty fucking good on it. Yeah, I mean, while he's screaming bleed in the chorus, his screams are pretty fucking convincing. I don't know. It sounds like a good hardcore singing. And like his flow is pretty fucking solid. I mean, the lyrics are nothing particularly great, but like, I've heard far, far worse.
Oh yeah,
not just from Durst, like I guess just in general on a lot of the style of music. So I think he fucking rips this pretty good.
Oh, and that's the thing is that like I don't know if you guys have actually like really listened to $3 Bill. Like that album, he's really fucking good on that album. It's probably the best like quote unquote performance of his career as like an actual sort of like rapper. I know that's kind of a funny thing to describe Fred Durst as, but like he's probably the most solid on that album of any Limp Bizkit album by a fucking lot.
I gotta say the rest of the song, like, I don't know, the riff is kind of cool, kind of solid. It's more like, you know, punk and like hardcore style to it than a lot of other new metal was, and I think that makes it, you know, stand out and actually age a little bit better in my ears. So I think it's kind of cool. It's good.
Yeah, and I remember listening to the song in like Soulfly and Sepultura and like that, especially like I said, later Max Cavalera era of Sepultura, and I remember really loving it. And I tried to I was gonna re-listen to it, and I'm like, I don't feel like I'm gonna like this nearly as much as I thought I would. But honestly, it still holds up. I do agree. I think it holds up very well.
Yeah, I mean, and I do feel like to your point that Soulfly not quite reaching as great heights. Vocally it seems similar to like kind of early Korn to me, like, you know, like Rage Jonathan Davis, like when he's like just going off.
Mhm.
And
he does have a scatting bit too that is kind of hilarious. I'm not gonna lie, but
yeah, he does. I remember that shit.
Yeah, and I feel like the reason I never really got into Soulfly is because when I like discovered them, I was already into like Korn and Slipknot, so that like itch had been scratched and they didn't really do it for me. But yeah, I mean, I will agree with you that this has probably aged a lot better than a lot of that stuff. So
no, and that's definitely the thing, is that Soulfly did what like Roots in that era of Sepultura did, but just did it much more watered down. Like it's a very watered down version of late Max Cavalera Sepultura, and I think he was not really able to carry that magic over onto Soulfly. But I think he did a solid job for Bleed. I will say that. Does anyone else have anything to say before we move on to the next bomb track here?
I don't think so. Other than Fred Durst kills it, and it was a good intro into this bracket.
Yeah.
And the next song we're going to be talking about is Here We Are, parentheses Champions, that has one verse from Fred Durst, and he's even less present on this song than he is on Bleed, and he's not really super like a huge presence on Bleed except for the screaming Bleed, and then there's like a couple lines. So like,
yeah.
And I think we can all agree that even though Fred Durst is not really a very good rapper, his verse on Bleed is solid, but his verse on this song is fucking awful.
Rotten Tomato, building shit out of Legos.
So fucking bad.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
It's a lot to take in. This whole song is a lot to take in.
Yeah, this whole song is a lot to take in. I gotta say, everyone here seems to phone it in. So, like,
oh my god, you know that's the thing, is that even by Lil Wayne feature standards, he really phones this in, even by those standards.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I'm a big hip hop fan, and you know, I love some Lil Wayne in the right context, but this is not the right context. This is the time when he was like trying to experiment with rock music and like put out a rock album that was really fucking terrible. And so this fucking dude comes along, Kevin Rudolph or whatever this fucking name is, and he's like, Lil Wayne's like, all right, yeah, this is the guy. This guy fucking he writes catchy hooks, and he's a fucking rock star, quote unquote. And so it's just it's part of the most awkward era of like Lil Wayne Birdman career fandom or whatever, you know.
And I gotta say, I mean, you know, obviously Lil Wayne bends words to kind of make them rhyme, but if you just read his verse, literally no two words rhyme. Lil Weezy fucked the world with two rubbers, but in the meantime, I might have a nice time. Went from a con artist to an icon, got the keys to my success on my key ring. Used to dream about sugar, sweet dreams, but reality is a bitch and she my bitch. Sold my soul to the devil, made a profit. Tunche. But yeah, I don't know. Fred Durst really not looking so great on this one.
He added extremely little to this song.
Yeah. And I think Birdman probably came away with the best verse, and his was even really bad. So...
No, I definitely will agree. He definitely was the least cringy out of everybody on this, for sure.
Oh yeah,
which never happens in anything Birdman touches.
It's
so
true.
I was gonna say, when Birdman comes out to be the king, you know you made a shit song.
Yeah.
That is a serious indicator.
Well,
Now, I don't have a horse in this race, but did y'all ever listen to Big Timers?
Big Timers was the last time anything good came out of Birdman. I'll say
Thank
that.
you.
Yeah. But the video too is also just like they're all just like bobbing up and down, standing in random locations that move, and like Rudolph playing a guitar that isn't plugged into anything at all. He's just like miming playing a guitar, and he looks so fucking out of place. Just this chubby, like guitar guy hanging out with a bunch of rappers. Durst actually looks like he fits in.
Guy is like, and it's just like chubby white guy in his mid thirties be like, I'm hanging out with the rock stars, and they're all like, yeah, Kevin, keep going, you're doing a great job, Kevin.
And in the like video for the song and the Kevin Rudolph video that auto plays right after it on YouTube, he really seems like a Make-A-Wish kid that like wants to be a rock star for a day. Like he really gives off that vibe because he's fucking dorky as hell, but he's rocking out with like people you've heard of.
Yeah.
And that is the perfect way to describe Kevin Rudolph in this music, and probably Kevin Rudolph in his entire career, to be honest.
And also,
yeah, it's very off-putting.
Lil Wayne also in the video is wearing like a cheetah print hat with ears and pigtails. It's like a beanie. And like it looks like something you'd see like Scene Kids and Weebs wearing like around 2010. Like that was a legitimate style among high school kids, but like it's just so weird to see Lil Wayne wearing that of all people.
Yeah, he's got like scene kid at like Hot Topic wearing a fucking like Invader Zim t-shirt look going.
Yeah.
Because like I mean part of Lil Wayne's like shtick is that he's not only a rapper, but he's a skateboarder, and so he tries to do this like kind of punk rocker thing where he's like, I'm smoking fat blunts, but I'm also wearing like a Sum 41 t-shirt. And I mean, I respect it. I'm he seems to find a lot of joy in skateboarding. More power to him, but it's a weird aspect to his personality.
Very weird. But yeah, I think that's all I have to say about this one. I say like I don't know. It's 4 minutes of your time. Do go look up the video. Just have fun with it.
Yeah. Also, I've watched the video a few times today alone, and every time I hear this song, it seems like when they were in the studio, they're like, oh, this is kind of catchy. Like I could see thinking when I was singing this, oh, this is catchy. But if I try to remember like how the chorus goes, as soon as I stop listening to it, within like 15 minutes, I can't sing this song at all.
Yeah.
It is very anti-catchy in my opinion. It is just like
yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Oh God. So I guess without further ado, should we do this the same way that we do Cage Fight, where we say 3, 2, 1, which song we liked better?
Yeah, I think that's the way to go.
This is gonna be a tough vote.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so who's gonna do the countdown?
I'll do it.
Dave?
Yeah,
okay.
Dave.
What?
Yeah, okay.
Just Jess, you do it.
Okay.
No.
3, 2, 1, bleed.
Bleed.
Very
Okay.
reluctantly bleed.
Look, I gotta say, I mean, Bleed is definitely a better, more well-written song, but I do have to say I kind of had more fun with Here We Are Champions, just in how much I was able to laugh at it.
Oh yeah, that's the song I'm more likely to like do at karaoke. But
Last thing I have to say, Jess, can you bleed? Are you bleeding now?
No. Thankfully.
I'm glad.
Oh, thanks.
have you felt the air rise up in you?
Never. I stopped breathing.
You know the thing, whenever I start bleeding, I push my fingers into my
eyes. God. We'll do a Slipknot bracket after this. We're just gonna keep the new metal theme going.
I'm down. My high school self is jumping for joy. So
Yeah, little fucking 13-year-old, 14-year-old me will be fucking all in. But so I guess now we're done with Fred Durst Friday, I would say. Right? Or
and of course, Bleed continues on in the bracket.
yes, Bleed will be advancing to the next round, and next week. What are the two we got next week? Hold on here. Let me bring the bracket up. I should have had it up already.
Oh, so next week on the bracket, it's the Carmex or Carmex. That'd be funny if he did a Carmex commercial too, but the Carmex commercial and the eHarmony commercial.
All right. We'll check those.
One of them he starred in, one of them he directed in. I guarantee you won't guess which one is which.
Okay.
I'm looking forward to it.